welcome. In this video, I'm going to talk a bit about Renaissance polyphony, which is one of the major singing traditions of the Catholic Church from about the 14th to the 16th centuries. In order to better contextualize our conversation, I'd like to start by talking about the order of Mass. Now, somewhere in the back of our minds, we can probably recall what the order of Mass is, but let's take a moment to lay it out. Within the order of Mass, we have two main ideas, the ordinary and the propers. The ordinary is called ordinary because it doesn't really change. These are the parts of the Mass that are the same each week, the Kyrie, the Gloria, the Holy Holy, the Lamb of God. The propers are called such because they are proper to specific days. Specific Sundays and feast days have special prayers that go along with them. These are called introit, gradual, offertory, and communion. This order of Mass has been pretty similar from the medieval Mass to the present. This is important because these prayers are where we can observe the development of sacred music over the course of many centuries. As Gregorian chant melodies continue to develop throughout the 9th to 11th centuries, there begins to be evidence of polyphonic singing. Remember, polyphony, multiple voices singing at the same time but with different melodies. The first polyphonic singing, called organum, was largely improvised and was based predominantly on the melody of the original chant, but sung at a different interval, like a fourth or a fifth or an octave away. Different written examples of more developed polyphony begin to pop up as we move through the 12th and 13th centuries, and in each case, the melodies are progressively more florid than the previous. The real shift, though, comes in the 14th century, when the order of Mass in some sense takes on a life of its own and becomes the dominant form of sacred music for the next several hundred years. It's here that we find some of the most incredible examples of sacred music ever created, from composers like William Byrd and Orlando di Lasso, and in the Roman tradition at the Sistine Chapel with Josquin de Prez and Giovanni Pierluigi da Palestrina. The music from these composers comes full circle with the earliest Gregorian chant melodies. One of the most oft-used musical techniques in the Renaissance, called cantus firmus, bases the polyphonic composition around the melody of a Gregorian chant from one of the ordinary or proper texts that we talked about earlier. One fun aside is that the cantus firmus technique was not relegated solely to sacred melodies. In many cases, composers would take popular secular tunes and base their Mass setting off of that, which was not viewed favorably by church hierarchy. This early example of the secular finding its way into sacred settings will set the stage for our in-person conversation about whether or not secular styles belong in our contemporary liturgies. Looking forward to seeing you then. Thanks for joining me today.